Hey, so welcome back. Today I was going to talk with you guys about coverage. I've gotten some questions about the coverage that Saint offers. And you might hear my pug today. I'm outside. It's in the 70s. It's beautiful. Normally I'm in my bathroom filming at 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm off today, so I'm outside by the pool. It's gorgeous, but my pug is out here with me, and he does like to bark. So be forewarned. So I've gotten some questions about coverage and the coverage that Saint offers, and that's the cream 3D makeup that I'm gonna demo today. And there's a couple of things that play into or factor into the coverage that you get, really with any makeup, but specifically with the Saint makeup that I'll be demoing today. And I just have an 8 palette that has a contour, my main highlight, which is basically your typical like foundation shade, and then a brightening highlight, which is like a concealer, and a bronzer. Okay. And then on the second deck, I've got 2 lip and cheek shades. So this is Sangria and this is Ruby, and 4 eyeshadow shades. And the cool thing I've found too, just to digress for a minute, is I would have never chosen these lip and cheek shades previously. But for some reason with this makeup, I'm able to do colors that are a little bit wild for me. I would have definitely gone more neutrally, more earthy tones. But these, I can do colors that I never would have thought I could do. And I know that they look really dark, and it's because it's cream, so it's like twice as pigmented as other makeups, okay? Other makeup. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the brushes. So this is the shape brush. All of the Saint brushes are double-ended, which is very cool because you get 2 brushes in one. If you want a really light coverage, if it's like a no makeup day, you might want to consider the shape brush, and I would use this fluffier end. So the bigger end is the one that I'll be showing you today on this side of my face. It's the no makeup look, right? So really light coverage. This is my blush and bronzer brush. This is my favorite go-to everyday makeup brush. So I use this end for the highlight shades, and I use this end for my bronzer. I can do my whole face with this brush, and that's what I typically do most days before heading off to work. I'm not gonna demo this one today because it's in between the shape brush, which is the light coverage, and the buff brush. So the buff brush is gonna give you more coverage, more what you would consider a full coverage. And you can see that the bristles are really densely packed. And that's what's gonna give you your full coverage, okay? So I'm gonna be demoing the buff brush on this side of my face with more full coverage. I'm also gonna show you how, if I want fuller coverage, I can dip my finger in and rub it in to pick up a little bit more product. When I'm demoing this side, the lighter coverage side with the shape brush, I am going to pick up the product with the brush. That's gonna give you a little bit of a lighter effect. So I'm gonna go in with my contour first, and I'm gonna go ahead and buff it out. Because remember, this is my lighter coverage side. So I'm just picking up the product lightly with the brush and I'm buffing it out as I go. That's my contour. Okay. Now I'm gonna go into, and I'm using the same shape brush, and I know it looks like it has product, but the cool thing about this is really it picks up so little. That's why these are really economical too. You don't waste product. It picks up so little that there's nothing still on there, right? Nothing still on there. So I'm gonna go in and pick up a little bit of what's considered my main highlight. Again, I'm picking it up with the brush because I want a lighter, more no makeup look. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a little bit more, and I'm just gonna buff it out as I go. I am putting a little bit on my eyelids because they tend to be discolored. Red, like the rest of my face, pink. Now I'm gonna go in with the smaller side of the same shape brush for my brightening highlight. And I'm just gonna put a little bit here on the inner corner and outer corner of my eye. Okay. So I've got this half of my face. You can see I've got pretty good coverage. I haven't even put on my blush and bronzer yet, but you can see I have pretty good coverage. It's toned down a lot of the pinkness and the red just with that little bit. Now I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. I'm gonna go back to the bigger side, and I'm just gonna dab in here. And I'm using Bella bronzer, so even though I'm a little bit fairer skinned, I still think the Bella bronzer is so pretty. So I'm just gonna hit where I might naturally get a little bit of sun just to warm up my face. And the Bella is really great too because it kind of tones down my redness as well. And then I'm going to go in with a blush shade. Ooh, hair in my face again. And I'm gonna go in with Sangria, and I'm going in with the bigger side of the shape brush, and I'm just dabbing it in, picking up a little bit of product, and then I'm gonna buff it out just on my cheeks, just to give me a little bit of color. And I do like a little bit, if I was gonna do it, just a little bit on my forehead. But it's just giving me a really like natural glow. And then if it was kind of a no makeup day, I would probably just use a little bit of my Bella bronzer using the small end of my shape brush and just go in on my eyelid, just to give me a little bit of warmth. You can do it with your finger too. There's no rules. That's what's great. So that's my lighter coverage side, and I don't have on any mascara yet. I did do my eyebrows in advance, so you didn't have to watch that how painfully slow that is for me. That was the light side with my shape brush. Now I'm gonna go in and show you a fuller coverage on this side. And I'm using the same palette, but the process, the technique is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna use my finger, and I'm gonna rub my finger in on my contour, And this is Olive Contour. It's the same one I just used on the other side, but I'm gonna use my finger. So using my finger is automatically gonna give me a much more full coverage application, because I'm putting more product on. Okay, that was my contour. And sometimes if I'm doing a fuller coverage, I do like a little bit on my nose, because I feel like I have kind of a wide nose. Maybe a little bit up there, a little bit under my lip. And then I would go in with my main highlight, which is, again, like your foundation shade. And because I'm going in with my finger, I'm picking up more product. Okay, so you can see it's going to be heavier already. Okay, and then I would go in with my brightening highlight, and that's kind of like your concealer, and take a little bit and go in the inner corner, the outer corner of my eye, anywhere where I just want to add a little bit of brightness, maybe down the center of my nose. Okay, just a little bit of brightness. Okay. So then I'm gonna buff these out with my buff brush, and I'm gonna use the bigger end. So there's two ends, this one's smaller, this one's bigger. And I'm gonna do the highlight shades first, and I'm gonna buff those out. Because if I'm doing a fuller coverage application, I always like to do my contour last. And with this one, instead of the more swirling motions, almost like you would do with a powder foundation that I did with the shape brush over here, with the fuller coverage look, I'm more stippling. So I'm kind of pressing the product into the skin as opposed to swiping or swirling. So that is going to give me fuller coverage. So I've used the same palette, the same shades, but it's going to give me more coverage and a little bit of a different look. So the only thing that I changed was the application technique and the brush. So now I'm gonna go in with this same shape brush, but I'm gonna use the smaller end to kind of lightly buff out the contour. And like I said, when I'm doing fuller coverage, I leave my contour for last, so that you see it a little bit more. And then I'm gonna blend out where I contoured here on my jawline, because if you're like me and you're getting older, your jawline's getting a little less crisp. So this is gonna help that. Okay, and then I am going to go in with my lip and cheek, and I'm still gonna use Sangria, but I'm gonna use that same method where I pick the color up with my finger and go in. So it's gonna be, and you can see how pigmented this is. And if you're like, oh no, that's a lot, you can keep buffing. The more you buff, the more it blends, and you'll pick up some product, right, on your brush. So I'm gonna kind of stipple this, blend it out. Remember, I'm going for a little bit fuller coverage, so I want it to be a little bit darker on this side, a little bit more, because it might be like a nighttime look. A special occasion look, or sometimes you just like fuller coverage. You just feel like having a full coverage makeup day. Okay, so you can see how this side is a little bit more, but as I stippled, as I buffed that out, it just blended in beautifully. I do think that I maybe need a little bit more contour. I think maybe I blended that out a little bit too much. Okay. Down my neck. Okay, and then I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. And for this one, I am gonna use the big end of my blush and bronzer brush. And I'm gonna pick up a little bit of the bronzer, just a little bit on the brush. And then I'm gonna sweep it over areas where I might naturally be like kissed by the sun. And I can tell that was a little bit much, so on my forehead, but I just buff it out. And the more you buff, the more it blends in, but it never looks muddied. Just really pretty. Still natural looking. I don't look too made up, and it's not bothering me. Typically with like liquid foundation, I don't like the feel of it on my face. I never have. When I was in my 20s, I just didn't wear makeup. Luckily, thankfully, my skin was really good, so I didn't feel like I had to. But later in my 20s, when I got thyroid disease and that pinkness started, that underlying pinkness started coming through, I did start wearing makeup, but I wore powder foundation. I couldn't wear all like the big name brand powder foundation because it has something in it that would irritate my skin. But I did find a brand that I really liked, and I used that for a really long time. And it wasn't until I got into my 40s that I felt like that wasn't working for me anymore, because I was getting wrinkles. My skin wasn't as firm as it used to be, and that's when I found SEINT. So I'm thankful for that, because that's been a lifesaver and a game changer for me. Okay, now I'm gonna put on some eyeshadow. I was gonna show you guys an eyeshadow look for this side before I do my mascara. And I will show you with the eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna go in with some chai. So chai is this lighter color right up here. And I'm gonna go in a little above. I'm gonna kind of coat my lid. That chai is a pretty neutral shade. And then I'm gonna come in with Dream. So Dream is really, really pretty. It's like a taupey brown, so not too much. And I'm gonna come just above where my brow bone is, because like everything that's drooping on my face, my eyelids are a little more heavy and a little droopy. So I wanna come in with that one. And then I'm gonna come in the corner with some pomegranate. And forgive me, I am trying to do this looking into my phone. Usually I would have a mirror that I would be looking into. So I'm doing this looking into the camera on my phone, which is cool. It's just a different experience. I'm gonna use the big end to the fluffy end to blend it up and out. Okay. And then I might pull a little bit of that same pomegranate down here a little bit. Just blend it. And then this is a really pretty shade. It's sparkly. It's called Cranberry right here. And you could pick a little bit up with like the fluffy brush and put it right in the center of your eyelid, or you could pick it up with your finger. And then maybe just blend that out a little. So that just gives me a little bit more of an evening look. And if I wanted to take the multitasker brush and take the pointier end, I could dip it into this pomegranate and go right into my lash line. This is gonna be fun because I don't have a mirror, so I'm doing this looking into the phone. I hope I don't poke myself in the eye. And I could kind of blend it in right. Ooh, and I did what I said I didn't want to do, poke myself in the eye. And then blend it up just a little bit. Now my eyes are going to be all watery. And I'm so sorry. For some reason, I think it's my allergies. We've had a lot of pollen here, but my allergies are really acting up. And I know I sound a little stuffy. I don't have a cold. I don't feel like I have a cold, but I sound a little stuffy. All right, now I'm going to take some mascara. My favorite is Clinique. I like the high impact waterproof, just for me because I'm so oily and it's really hot here in Florida. So I feel like it stays on the best. It doesn't run, just for me. I've used lots of different mascaras, and that one I feel like works the best for me. So I'm gonna go in, and again, I'm trying to do this without looking in a mirror. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so not too bad. And then I'll do the other side. If I don't have mascara on, you cannot see my eyelashes, so it's definitely something that I need, because my eyelashes aren't terrible, they're just really light colored. And then I, of course, got a little bit on my eyelid. I always do. That's why I always have Q-tips nearby. Nothing gets mascara off of your skin quite like a Q-tip. I don't know the science behind it, but I know that nothing else seems to work except for a Q-tip. Okay, so I used my Q-tip to just clean up where I got mascara. And I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna put on some lip and cheek. The one thing I don't have in my palette today, my 8 palette, and of course I have the orange because that's my favorite color, I love the orange, is an illuminator. So I have the illuminators right here. I have 4 of them here. I'm gonna choose today. I'm gonna use Angel. It's kind of pinky. You can see it's a little bit shimmery, and I'm just gonna put it on this side that's the fuller coverage, just anywhere where the light would naturally hit. So like on the top of my cheek right there. I'm gonna go in, I can just use my finger because again, that gives me a little bit fuller coverage, and I can just put it down the bridge of my nose. I can put a little bit up here near my eyebrow, and a little here on my Cupid's bow. Okay. Just a little bit of that illuminator. And then I can go in with my lip and cheek. So I'm gonna use the same color on my lips that I used on my cheeks, which is really cool that you can do that with this cream makeup. So it really saves you money and time. So I'm gonna go in with, and I like to do this with my contour shade. So I can go in with this contour shade and almost line my lips. And again, I apologize. I am trying to do this without looking in a mirror. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, and I need a little bit more. So I'm going back in with that contour shade. Just to kind of line my lips and give me a little bit of a base. And I like the way that the contour does that. And then I can come in with my lip and cheek color. So I know that some people don't like to use their finger to put it on their lips. You could take your finger and do it, or you can use the multitasker brush, and I can use this flat end of the multitasker brush to do it. See? Okay, and I can go right into the sangria. And for this side, I'm just gonna keep it really light because it's a no makeup kind of day. And then on this side, this is gonna look crazy, but I'll do like a heavier application. So it's a little bit brighter. And like I said, the cream makeup is so pigmented. And sangria is more of a matte color, so it's not sheer. You can see the two sides, same color, but looks a lot different. And then I also really like this color Ruby because it's a glossier color. To come in over top. So got some on my teeth. That's pretty. Just gives you a little bit of like pop of color. I know that looks crazy. That looks so crazy. I don't know that I can leave it like that. And remember, if I want it to be a little bit less, I can just keep buffing it out. That's a little bit better. Still a little bit darker on this side. And I could keep buffing it out if I wanted to. But it shows you on this side, like you can still see my freckles. You know, it's a little bit less, it's a little bit softer. This side, it's a little more dramatic, it's fuller coverage. But my redness is really covered. It still blends so pretty, and it doesn't feel any heavier on the face, which is what I love. Because sometimes you want to look like you have makeup on, and you want to feel okay with how you look with more makeup on. So I'll put my hair down. I had my hair clipped back so it wouldn't be in my way, and I'll show you finished look. Okay, so I took the clips out of my hair. This side is my minimal makeup side, and I used the shape brush for it. This side is more full coverage, and I used the buff brush to put it on, and I stippled. If you want those brushes that I used, or my favorite, blush and bronzer brush. So if you want any of the brushes that I used, or you want me to color match you, I do free color matches for your own custom palette. Then comment yes below, and I'll get you all of that information and all of the links to that. Thank you guys for being with me today. It was a lot of fun. Reach out if you have any more suggestions for makeup tutorials or classes that you guys would like to see. All right, have a great day.